Okay, good evening, heroes and heroines, and welcome to Practising Programming in C, where we're going to be doing some more stuff on Cinera. Probably on the config sort of side of it. Since the last stream, I just left Cinera running. I think you might have spotted that at the very end of the stream it was still running, I think maybe. I don't know. But I left it running, and it's just kind of continued to work fine. I don't think it's leaking memory at all, as far as I can see. At least it's certainly not noticeably leaking memory. There are there's a little bit of stuff that's a bit weird, which I'd like to have a quick look at. You can see here when it says updating checksum of this file, you can see that we don't get the full file name. So if I just pop over there, I don't know if this is going to... So this should be Cinera underscore topics.css. And then again, this one down here is as well. But when it's saying updating checksum, it doesn't get the full name. And I'm not sure why that is. So I might like to look at that. Yeah, reinserted it all. There's a Saf, we need to add him. Oh yeah, we were sort of thinking about doing a full support scope, weren't we? So somebody could just be guided to produce the full thing if they need to. What is that saying exactly? Unexpected item in ref. Okay, so that's just what I was writing, I think, probably. So let's have a quick look at this. And then let's have a look at it's the authored stuff. So I'll just show you this as well. I believe it's on episode 231. Yeah, it is. Right, so here we go. Episode 231. This probably isn't going to start well. Okay, fine. So it selected this, but it hasn't started to play it for some reason. So we've got this issue here where this annotation here and this one here are both apparently written by Casey. So Casey had written in the chat some stuff, and we have to sort of display the fact that he wrote them. Now, I think if we look at the actual stuff that's live, what's all this crap? Risky 12. So they're all these risky 12s are just sitting around. So 231 we're saying, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Main is there for some reason. 231. So here's the actual published thing, which the working Cinera does. Now this outputs Casey Motori, and it outputs this, so it's outputting the same stuff. But really, the intention of this kind of stuff is that Casey. I'll just show you actually. So here's Casey, right? He's getting cited as Simuratori, his username, there and there. But when it comes through to the thing, he's getting his full name. I think the intention really is that we shouldn't be using the full name. We shouldn't be trying to resolve the full name from the actual credentials stuff, which is this guy up here. We shouldn't be doing that, but we should instead just be using the actual username that we put down here, so it sort of matches with the other people, insofar as Busy Beaver. You know, so everybody kind of gets that same thing. And I think you can also kind of see that it probably hasn't got any colour for his name. That just hasn't got. He just hasn't got colour because I think Casey usually shows up as pink. I think it's either pink or green, bright green, and he's neither of those here. And what's going on here exactly is that when we processed this thing, we looked up into the we looked up into the credentials that we pushed, right? So we do this build credits on all the speakers. So and a speaker is a host, a co-host, and a guest, but not an annotator, right? It looks up into the speakers array and pulls that thing off. It pulls off the full name of the speaker because it was the first time that we saw them, right? It pulls that thing off the actual full name. The second time, it's supposed to use the abbreviation, right, which is set here. Now, because there's only one speaker, Casey's the only speaker, I don't count as a speaker because I'm an annotator. There's no abbreviation set for his name, right? So all this time, this day 231 has been wrong because it's had this. And the reason that this actually went through previously is that the abbreviation used to be a fixed size buffer, but I believe it's just a pointer now. Yeah, so it's a pointer. So these guys need to be actually stuck on the heap, and that's the reason why we hit the error this time, because that thing just straight wasn't available. So we need to handle that. So yeah, that's kind of like what we like to address. We like to address those two things. It's this situation here, basically figuring out some story as to how and when we use like Casey's full name, or we use the username basically. And we want to look up this this thing here, this update and checksum. So let's start with the update and checksum. Update and checksum of in HTML files, asset path. So here we go, asset path, file asset file. Short dash it, asset path. Is that the other place where we have the updating checksum of thing in HTML? Yeah, it is, isn't it? So now the interesting thing also is that the second time we see it, it comes out fine, which is a bit odd, isn't it? Message is that long. Is it just that the message isn't long enough? That's probably all it is, isn't it, actually? Is it? Why are we making that string anyway? Clear terminal row message. Oh, it's so you can clear the terminal row. Ah. Yeah, I see. So what would happen if I just gave it a bit more space, I wonder? Also, that isn't really necessary, is it? Because we could still just produce an actual string. So let's do that. And also, this expand string function, I'm sort of thinking, blimey. Oh, it's extend, isn't it? So it's taking a pointer to a dest, and then we end up returning the dest. I'm sort of thinking that we should just take a pointer to a dest, and just operate on that. So actually, yeah, let's do that first, actually. I think I prefer to have that happening. So leave that as it is for now. Wow, 4 seconds to build that file. Is this an optimized build? Hope it is. Yeah. So, expand string, extend string. Yeah, I think it'd just be a case of making these guys take the address of that thing. Pass the address through, rather. So we just do reference dest. That's it, isn't it? That's just what you do. So we've got a pointer to a pointer. Surely want to dereference that. Sorry, what's it saying? What is this? What is this complaining about? Oh, it's not complaining about extension at all. So yeah. Why has it gone down to there? I wonder. Oh! You can't build the config.c. So you just need to build the Cinera file. So yeah, everywhere you see extend string, what you want to do is right, let's do this. So Q E okay. Oh shit, extend string in book is a different function. And that's a different deal, isn't it? Extend string in book is talking about, it takes the memory book. Yes, that needs to return a string. Yes, so that needs to be different. Where's the extend string function? Can't I just search the actual thing? Okay, so there's no more instances of that in there. Okay. What's going on here? Yeah, I can't really do that. Let's just leave that on for now so we can go back to it. Okay. So this guy needs to take that. So I think that's more like what you want. Just says he's kind of passing the thing just to be like just be returning the thing. With a bit of luck. Oh shit. No. So where is it? It's in here. If that is thingy. No. We do want to be reallocating the dereferenced dest and setting the dereferenced dest with that. Required bytes. Init file. So it's init file. I didn't like it. Init file inside tokenize. Should we just do this in a separate file? Just so we don't kind of screw it up too badly. No, we can at least play with it and see what's going on. And then probably standard int as well. So if we say, what's it take? It's taking strings as well. Yeah. Blimey. String length. Just pull that in from somewhere. Pulling that in from a brief. Okay. Okay, so it's building. So basically what we're saying is we want to be producing a string 0. So it starts off as that, and you want to say string, well you want to say just extend string, isn't it? Clearly want to be passing it like that, is what I'm sort of suggesting. Oh. So the extend is dying. It's read of size 8, it reckons. So this isn't set. So we're wanting to pass the string 0 by address to extend string. So the source length is going to be 0. Really 0. If dest, so I guess, should we see if we get into here? What else have we got? I think that's the only way we can. The only thing we can separate out there. So that's it. So there's no dest. The required bytes. Apparently we require 10 bytes for the something, so it's 9 characters plus the null terminator. Yeah. So we're trying to realloc. So we could see, where's dest? So dest is at something. It's not null. It's not cleared out. You can see because all of these dudes here. And now we're trying to be setting. What's the original length? Original length is 0. So we're trying to, we're trying to write, aren't we? The source length. So it hasn't crashed us yet. Oh, I see. Maybe is it sort of treating this as if it's a 64-bit? It's probably treating this as a 64-bit value, so 64-bit increments. So it's going to be jumping in 64 bits rather than in 8 bits, because this dest is an 8-bit car. That's probably what's going on, isn't it? So we need what is it? Yeah, 9. So I think I'd expect it to die after 1 or 2 more jumps. So it's 1 more. So that's probably what's happening, isn't it? So the dest at the original length. Do I just cast? Yeah, how do you do that? Maybe you set up a pointer. You say that there's a pointer at the dest. Pointer at the dest plus the original length. Is that going to be sufficient? Or is that still going to be busted? I guess we could see where that puts us actually, couldn't we? And then what I'm basically proposing is just saying this. Do you increment past it? Should we just see if that does it at all? Okay, so that probably what was happening, because dest was just being treated as a 64-bit. Because right, we're on a 64-bit computer here, and a pointer on a 64-bit computer is going to be a 64-bit. It's going to be 64 bits wide. This the old thing was treating that kind of addition to this pointer as being 64 bits in 64-bit increments, basically. So the pointer arithmetic essentially is what it is. it was treating it as if it was 64 bits, as opposed to 8 bits, which is what just a regular car is. So yeah, I think that's just what you need to do, and that's going to do the job just fine, I believe. You can sort of see that comes through there. So yeah, so that was in extend string 0, and instead of doing that, let's just copy it. So you do reallocate it just the same way. The only difference is that. Alright, now we get through just fine. It's running a bit slow because we're running it in debug build. That's a bit quicker. So back to debug mode, and let's go to that place. It was the updating, wasn't it? Updating checksum. So here we go. So we've got this fixed size of the thing here. What I'm proposing it's a bit cheesy because we can only extend strings by one string at a time. Right. Oh, we could do make string, couldn't we? We could do make string, and then after clearing the terminal row, we can just print out whatever. Because the only reason, right, the only reason that we're even populating this message thing is so that we know how many bytes we've written out to the console, so that we can clear that terminal row. Do you even need to do that, actually? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you do. But anyway, let's just say that the message is going to be equal to a make string 0, which is going to be, I think it's just all S's, isn't it? So we've got an S for that, S for updating, S for that, whatever that is, S for checksum, S for that, S for that, S for that, and then S for the final thing. So, bear with me. Call the strings CS ongoing. Checksum. Now what is that exactly? Checksum location. Copy to buffer. I think we might be wise to wrap this up into a dude. You know, do this as a wrap 0i, and we say it's the checksum location, and it can be as long as the checksum pointer take away the checksum location, just to be on the safe side. Checksum that of that. Well, hold on a second. Checksum oops, of asset file path. So that looks super horrible, doesn't it? But I'm just afraid that's just how it goes at the moment. So updating that checksum, and then this is the actual wrap0i. Oh, bollocks. Make string has to take a pointer to that thing, take it by value. So oh right, yeah. Okay, so that's going to do that, and then it's going to print that message. We then need to clear this one row, and I think here you just free that checksum, and then you can print out whatever you fancy. And what is this buffer actually? Now that I think about it. Copy string to buffer. DB asset hash. Well, we've already got the space for that, right? So why on earth are we bothering? Right. Why don't we just make this as an actual... I mean, we can wrap this because it's got a fixed size. What is this actually? It's DB asset hash. So the hash is going to be... I suppose actually maybe what's going on here is that we need to make it into a hexadecimal number. So maybe that's just what's going on there. And we can't do that with make string. I see. Oh well. Is that what it was? Oh no, it's free message. So the message ain't used again, is it? This is in a brief. Is it in config.c that thing is specified? So there it is. I'm kind of wondering actually, if you just define free, can you just do that? Well, rather not exactly that, but kind of like this, maybe. Or do you need sort of a do while thing? Because basically the situation was that couldn't free stuff that wasn't a car for some reason. So L value required. Free path. What's it? Where's that? Sorry, it's like this kind of, isn't it? Is that at all what you do? Just look this up. Do well is equal to 0, should do that. So what is this complaining about? On line 333 of the config. Ah, maybe that was just it. Yeah, so now, because previously we were passing the we're taking the value at the address of these guys, but now we've changed it, so we're just not taking that exactly. 1400. Yeah. Hopefully this is going to sort out all our problems. 2539. Where is it? There. Yeah, I mean, I suppose this could be easily sort of automated by just replacing like free open brackets ampersand with free open brackets nothing. In fact, let's just totally do that. Sorry. Well, that's not all right. Okay, so let's see if we crash. We don't crash. So yeah, I think that's just what we needed to do. you just define that guy as a macro. Now, do you need it? Does it need to be a macro? Because there's no ifing in it. Okay, so maybe that's all we needed. Now let me just have a quick gander. There are some places where we use free. Yeah, so here, can we not just do this now? Implicit declaration of it. Okay, so let's just declare that earlier. Well, in fact, let's just stick it right up at the top. Stick it up there. And then here we should be able to use that. It might be an idea actually to jump into free template and just see if we can watch that happen. Although we don't actually have a template configured, so that won't work. And what I really need here is a case sensitive thing. Some of that free thingy. Yeah, right, so this guy. Free and reset count. Let's just jump into that actually. Free credentials, what does that use? Free and reset count. Basically, the only reason that I want that free thing at all is so that you can null out the pointer after freeing, so you can use it to check if it's still around. Okay, so let's jump in to free and reset count and just see what happens. So we've got that there. That dereferences to, we don't fucking know. It says 0. Now if we just jump at what we should be looking for here, by the way, is after having gone through this free macro, this value here should be nulled out. So if we do PV, that should be null. Yeah, and it is perfect. That's all we want to see. So now we want to trigger a update of one of the files, isn't it? So let's just go in. I mean, we could do it here, but let's just make a new topic called hurting. So this is a read of size 8 in update DB. Okay. So we're trying to do a car message make string 0. And apparently it's not liking the make strings. Yeah, it's just the make string 0 on a read. So it's going to be trying to read asset file path. I was thinking that the asset file path should be fine because these guys are null terminated strings, aren't they? Yeah, extend string here. Yeah, resolve path also. And construct asset path. They're doing the same deal as what extend string 0 was doing, which was it was taking the taking the thing, the pointer to the thing, taking a pointer to a car and returning a pointer to a car. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah. Let's just try that again. With a bit of luck, this won't have taken effect. So yeah, still we're getting this thing here. It's not getting the full thing. Also, what's going on actually is that it's just not clearing enough of the terminal row, is it? It's only cleared a little bit. Now why is that, I wonder? Because really what this should be doing, it should be printing out the message and then doing this stuff, and then it should be clearing this terminal row. Before freeing the message, which we'll find about, and then f printing after that. But you can sort of see that it's going to have printed out the updating checksum, and then it's backed up to before the topics.css thing, and then printed out that. So let's just jump into that. So 2468, that's kind of cool. So let's say, so we are running, we can run. And then if we make a change, so we hit this breakpoint. Checksum L. Yeah, in fact we should see it, shouldn't we? We should see that message pop up. So we should see what actually gets printed. Updating checksum this of this in HTML files. We don't put the new line because we want to be clearing that terminal row. Snap checksum to HTML. Yeah, so the thing about this is that this is a lengthy function. I mean, it's very, very quick. But I was being a bit cheeky and I was sort of saying, well, look, we're going to show this message. And the idea is that you're supposed to be able to see this while this whole thing is happening. But because this is so quick, you might not see it. That was the cheekiness. Ah. What's that all about? Oh, actually, no, that's probably fine, actually. That could well be just part of the colorization thing. So maybe that is fine. So let's jump over here and let's step into clear terminal row. So this is being passed a terminal, a length. What's it being passed? Oh, this is string length itself working. So it's been passed a length of 115. Ah, hang on a second. Is this incorrect? So there's 121 characters in that thing. And they were saying that they got a string length of 115. Now, do we need to take into account? I was sort of thinking that it might have been the opposite way around. I was kind of thinking that the length was being computed as too long, so it was including these guys. Well, including this and this. But I wonder if it's not including it and it has to, and it should include it. Basically, no. Also, I wonder why it's come out as that exactly. Because we're saying that it should be 121 characters long, aren't we? Or 120. They're coming out at 115. So they're going to be... What are they going to be doing? They go back to the start of the row. Right, they print out this to go to the start of the row. And then they're going to increment forwards 115 characters, overwriting with nothings. And then zip to the start of the row again. So I'm not exactly sure why we end up seeing updating checksum. You know, I'm not sure why we see this. We end up seeing the start of the message rather than the end of it. Do you know what I mean? check some location. I guess this guy again is... This guy should be using the checksum L. Really, shouldn't it? It should be using that guy that we computed. Let's see if that could be at all the problem. Oops. Although, like I say, I'm still not sure why that message length is coming out at whatever it's coming out as. You know, considering that this is what was in the buffer. This was the thing that was passed into thingamajig. I guess you just go to string length and just see what it's doing, don't you? Right, here we go. So we're back in here. Print the message. What am I being told there exactly? I mean, I guess you could just step through this and see where you end up with. I mean, basically, what I'm sort of thinking that should have, well, so it's still the same thing, right? 121 bytes. If we go next, we should see that we're sitting. Well, we're printing off the string, aren't we, actually? And the string ain't going to move, so that it's really the string. So the string at I, it's currently there. Now, I guess that's just because I hasn't been initialized. Maybe? So they're saying that I is 1. Yeah, I mean, it's basically not initialized, I suggest. So we've hit that. Oh, is that just to do with something else now? Updating. Mind you, oh, I guess we didn't update the checksum last time. It's kind of handy. Snipe checksum to HTML happened. Speed is now 0. Okay. So this is it's considering that to be the full character, isn't it? Is that what I'm seeing? It's interpreting this as an entire character. Yeah, so it jumps past those. It jumps past all of this lot. Isn't that interesting? The string at 1 evaluates to being that. I mean, surely string at 2. Evaluates to being the 0, shouldn't it, isn't it? Well, I mean, we can just see it, can't we? So string at 1, the saying is going to be that. String at 2 is going to be the 0. String at 3 is that. Yeah, okay, so it's a bit off. So it's counting up fewer characters than we apparently see. Let us just try this. Now, this didn't used to be. I'm pretty sure this didn't used to be a problem. But if we just remove the colours, what happens? Like, does it work then? No, it doesn't. Should we step in and see why? Because you see that we don't get the colour, but we still do get both of the lines. Suffrage. It's funny how it always starts with 1. There's no funny business going on there, is there? Update. I wonder if I just step through and just watch that string 0. Sorry, string I. guess this could be made a bit nicer actually, couldn't it, if I just put them together, but do this maybe? Maybe it'll be able to produce some nicer stuff for me. Is that true? Oh, I don't care. So updating checksum. This is the checksum going in. I can buy that. Of home mat. I guess also we could just like, because we're not really getting any particularly interesting information here, if we just continue to there and just see what I is. So I is apparently 104. Oh yeah. So there, 104, as you would expect. I guess in length, does this length need to be made a UN64? Maybe, is that all it could be? I mean, those numbers should have fitted into an int, shouldn't they? We still haven't written that out of the database, which is fine. We can just run this test again. So it's now taking the UN64. Populate the make string. And now fprintf, so we should see the entire thing. There we have it. I guess just jump over it. I guess this doesn't actually answer our question, does it? Because when we're in here, we actually lose the sort of clearing of the terminal row. So we really need to do it. We just need to let it all happen. There we go. So maybe the problem there was simply the clear terminal row wasn't big enough. I think that is the main change, isn't it? I don't think the the string length function was much different. Oh, we need to get the colours back in, by the way. Yeah, it'd be nice if I could just show that all happening. Cinema working? I don't care about cinema working. Jesus. So where we're at? Are we? We're in. Wait, it doesn't matter. I think it was the final file though. Bleed or change? Let's go for change. Okay, so here we go. We should see this pop up down here. Basically, this is a topic, and we're saying that we want to be, when you make a new topic, you need to update the asset, the checksum in all the files, basically, for the topics file. And now it's fucked again, isn't it? Updating checksum of that. Reinserted. Updating checksum. Oh shit. Yeah, because of course we changed it back, didn't we? We would expect this to be the broken. Or rather, we were testing to see if that was the thing that was broken. So yeah, it's busted again. Reinserted code 524. Updating checksum that. Okay, yeah, I can buy that. That's the right thing to put there. Reinserted. Shouldn't that be getting used somewhere else? Relocating. I guess. Oh, it's the colour. It's only the colour. Yeah, I see. So edit types. Edit types. Edit reinsert is what I was looking for. Now, the word reinserted doesn't appear anywhere in the file, right? Which suggests that we need to be using the edit reinsertion somewhere. Edit type. Oh. So we're using it here, right. So we print out that here. After having done that, we do this. Bespoke template generate place page. Then having done that, we delete stale assets. Apparently. Oh, hang on. This is in recheck privacy. I think update assets. This is what we're talking about, I think. Construct asset path. And it's update asset in DB, which is where we're talking about, isn't it? That's where our print, yeah, this stuff here is happening. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to do that. I mean, could that just be it, actually? It's possible that could totally be it, honestly. Possibly. Let's just also go back to that other place where that entry type is getting used. Entry, edit type, yeah. So where are things getting initialized? Well, up there. Is that how you need to do that? Apparently is. So the only thing that we did there was that we initialized this asset file. And I think we initialized this as well to be nothing. Pretty goddamn sure that's all that we changed there. So let's see if that has made any difference at all. Possibly. Could maybe have done, I suppose. Yeah, I'm very bamboozled by this. I guess we could just put sleep, couldn't we? After clear terminal row, we could just do a sleep and see what we've been given. Because really what we should see is that this dude... Oh, shit. Ah, that's unfortunate. I see what's going on now. The problem is that it just doesn't fit into this fucking window. Right. That is unfortunate. Right, I think I understand now what's going on. I think this should look right. It does. Right, I see. So, how do you handle that, I wonder? Because basically, right, you can see here, this has had to spill the thing over 2 lines. Because there wasn't enough space to fit it all on. Now, the clear terminal row mustn't understand how to handle that. So I guess we need to just try and handle that, don't we? We should be able to get the column width, shouldn't we? The number of columns in the thing. And then we say, however long the thing is, we jump back to the previous line. And can you actually do that, I wonder? Actually, now that I think about it, can you just do like 2 return characters? Is that going to take you back to the start of the previous row? Jesus Christ, the crap that I end up looking into. So apparently we kind of can, because you can see that that ended up not producing anything. Well, hang on a second. Yes. Did we try fears before? We kind of did. So now we get that. And we get that. We need to be able to sort of say, how do you move up to the previous line? Yeah, so how do you do that? B is a terminal escape code. Clear the screen and redraw it? Really? Is that how you gotta do it? Also, it's the beginning of the line. Yeah, I know about that. B is a terminal escape code. I found mark a bit bucket. Well, there's nothing you can do. Well, I mean, you can back up the pointer, can't you? Back up the, what do you call it? Head. The B doesn't cut it. Instruct the terminal to move the cursor backwards and place a space character in the new person. Oh. Okay. So rather than doing what I'm doing anyway, because what I'm doing is I'm going back to the start of the line and then adding these dudes. So should I actually be, rather than doing that, should I be saying this? And then just scrapping that? Is that what you should be doing? Ah, nice one, dude. That's perfect. Interesting. These only work on VTA 100. left corner. System clear. Okay. 30 more passing and usually correct. Yeah, this is what I was doing before, basically. I would have been doing this sort of a thing. Polygon. Severely deprecated over specific ways. So I'm not sure I want to go to end cursors exactly. Well, that's fine, using one or the other but not both. Don't give a shit about see out. What's your name? So on Linux, setup term null. I mean, this is talking about clearing the entire thing, isn't it? Uni std and term age. Alcus or alter info. Well, I mean, I suppose we've got it doing what we want, so we're fine. Gosh, that was a bit of an interesting one to have to go through. Leave it like that. By the way, the reason it's taking so long is that it's only configured to update every 4 seconds. We could actually just speed that up. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually reload the config. Right, okay. So now we've got this finally actually doing the right thing. Shit, we've got like all these guys in now and that. Right, fine. So where previously we had a fixed size message, we're now just making a string of the size it needs to be. Printfing that, sniping the stuff in, clearing the row, freeing the message and printing out the new stuff. Yeah, we're still fine. This guy here is claiming a 16 byte long buffer. And again, we're sort of saying we sort of need to do this because we don't have a make string function that knows how to translate this into a hex value. Or more specifically, we don't know how to translate a db asset hash, which is a uint thingy. Where's that guy? db asset hash is in int32. It doesn't know how to convert an int32 or how to write out an int32 as a hexadecimal value. Okay, for an hour and a half. Let me just take a couple of minutes, then we'll just queue up a little bit more stuff. And I think I'd like to actually go on to the second thing that I wanted to do, which was just outputting the correct thing for authors, essentially. We'll do that when I get back. We are back. Not sure how long I want or need to do. Let's see what we've got going on today. What's a new day, aren't we? Yeah, just. So the small techer, that's going to be like 2 hours. That's a bit more than I think I'd need to do. In Anastasia, is that? It's not in FLAC. Let's listen to a bit of a. Hopefully we can get down to Ocean at least, because I love that track. 43 minutes. So the thing we're trying to address now is this situation here. Casey is getting printed out with using his actual name, so we need the logic to determine how this all plays out, really. So let's go to the place where this happens. Is it HTML to buffers? I think. So this is the area here. Untangle this logic here. Hero code 231 exhibits the bug. There is one speaker, the host Cinera, sorry. Casey says two things in the chat as author Cinera, sorry. We credit him first using his full name erroneously. Second time we try and use an abbreviation which isn't set. When a credited person is the author of a chat comment, we must tag it authored. So the reason, right, that we don't set the annotator as a speaker, the reason we don't push them on as being a speaker, right, when we do build credentials here, right, we don't push the, I mean, we do push credentials, but if the guy is an annotator, we do not actually fit them into the speaker's store. And only if the speakers count is greater than 1 do we sort and abbreviate speakers. Now, I mean, this is kind of beside the point, actually, I suppose, so we don't really need to necessarily go into that. Maybe. So, if the annotation has an author, what this means is we've got two cases here. In one case, we have things like this, right, where we've got just regular old speakers in the chat. In another case, really? Oh, where are we? This is Firefox. Shouldn't this be able to find it? Oh. Right. Hang on a second. Oops. So now with a bit of luck, we should actually get pseudonym 73 coming through. Right, so here's his episode. Now, remember we had this situation where we've got, these are authors here, we've got chat commenters as authors, and then we've got this other situation here where we've got people who are credited as actual kind of like speakers with full names. Right, so these are people, Casey and Andrew, are people that we've put onto our speakers as an array. Now we want a way to distinguish between the stuff that those guys say and the stuff that people like Disused say. And we already sort of do that, don't we? Because Disused gets considered to be a chat comment. And I think that basically means he's got the authored tag set, doesn't it? Yeah, insert category authored here. Whereas in the other situation, that doesn't get inserted. So I sort of wonder, is there a way for us to do this programmatically, or will we just have to say that the annotator will have to actually set that? In other words, where's it open? Is it open by this? What episode was this? 440. No, and also maybe 231. Right, do you just say that you have to do it like that? Essentially. And it's possible that's exactly what you do need to do, isn't it, actually? You know, if I do this, let it rebuild. It did rebuild, is it? 231. But Casey's still considered to be that. So, isn't that interesting? Because that is considered to be a chat comment now, whereas previously it would have been considered to be the default programming. Probably. Yeah, it's not. These guys don't have a medium icon, so they would have been just considered programming. Speech. So there's apparently no chat comments. Well, that's broken, isn't it? So this chat comments. These guys are going through. Like, we do know these guys are supposed to be chat comments. I mean, we have generated this as a chat comment, but the filter menu doesn't know that. So that's broken. Home Streets Trivia. There's chat comment. 512. That's weird. Let's go chat comment. Let's go chat comment. So we've clearly broken something, haven't we? So what have we broken? Chat comment. Authored. Clearly we need to add that to the filter menu somewhere. If we have a filter menu, has filter menu equals true. Insert category authored. Now why is that happening? Insert category. Is there anywhere else that authored happens? No. So this is the only place that authored happens. Wrap 0 authored. Authored. I mean, we do have that in the config, don't we? Somewhere. Do we include the thing? So there's authored. Global topics. I mean, it's the media actually, in this case. Oops. So there's the media going in. Global media. Get medium from project, come project. If medium. Take a string marker and the project current project and use get medium from project. Change this to take a string marker. We've done that. We don't need the. We're not taking the current project because that's global. So that's doing it. Basically, the global media should be adding the thing into the main menu Medium index, where's that exactly? Well, this isn't quite right, is it? If medium... Ah, maybe it is. Then we do the topics down here. Now... Do we ever get the dudes coming through? The authored thing set? No, we don't. I don't think. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, chat comments. So that's going through there. Chat comment, program, research, speech. But it's not coming through here. Yeah, there are definitely chat comments, aren't there? Yeah, that there. So let's have a look at this first. Insert category. I mean, it's possible that I'm not even hitting insert category, but you would have thought that we are, wouldn't you? If you think about it. Because this must be happening. This copy string to buffer must be happening. Wasn't it? The author annotated. Well, actually, I guess it's not here, is it really? What is it that must be happening? Local media. Medium ID length. Medium name length. I wonder why I'm doing it like this, by the way. Like copying these guys in, why don't I just use pointers? Build categories. So this is only taking the local guys. So I think we're getting this happening. There's one call to it. Where is this? Probably in HTML buffers. This is the logic, yeah. So getting the thing written out to the local annotation, but we're not getting it written into the actual global thing. This is just for the authors. Default medium. I suppose what I could do is, how big is this guy? It's just this big. If I just sort of say, then break there. Have I got a break here thing? No. If it's authored, and just see what happens. Because I don't think it's ever actually getting the thing into the thing, is it? Anymore, for some reason. So this is code 081. So what are we going to be producing? So this guy doesn't produce the chat comment thing. And yet you can see quite clearly that there are chat comments. So what is going on? It does author, speakers count. So that or, and is categorized AFK. It's not categorized AFK. It isn't categorized AFK, I don't think. So we're getting in here. So if it has an author and linear search for speakers is -1, so we're searching for Martis Mosaico, who shouldn't be a speaker, right? So that means that we should enter this. Well, that's just beautiful, isn't it? I wanted to go into insert category, thanks very much. I guess you just continue. Well, I suppose let's make sure I can get down there first. Oh, it wraps. So, been past authored, length 8. To medium is set. Local media, we don't really care about. It's only the global medium we're interested in. There's no global media, really. Oh. There's apparently 3 global medias. Well, yeah. I mean, there would be. There's authored. There's programming. And there's speech. So why are we not producing that? So that's where that was. Insert category. Oh, right. If local media count is equal to 0, build categories. If the media count is greater than 0, so this is building the filter menu, which is the thing that we want to be seeing the authored thing get pushed into. Right, and we just saw that the media category 0 was authored. I mean, there is some garbage down there. I don't know if that's at all relevant. Maybe it is, actually. Yeah, it could be, couldn't it? Maybe we need to clear that. Clear the media. Make sure that that's good to go. So that's happening. Ah, yeah, that's probably what's going to happen, isn't it? When it tries to wrap 0i, the marker, it's going to get scrambled up with the stuff. So that's probably all that's happening. Now we do clear the categories. References over array. Oh, when we sort them, are we not clearing them properly? That's probably what's going on, actually, isn't it? Wow, how did this not happen earlier? Guess we're not. Well, I mean, we're newly doing the wrap 0i, aren't we? Which goes from the extremes of it. Maybe that's all it was, so we kind of locked out before, where we should have been clearing them. I mean, I'm not even sure if that's even what you want to be doing, actually. Like copying entire strings rather than just swapping the pointers around. But I think now that I'm doing that, we should actually end up producing the right thing. I mean, for all that, so we just step through and we'll just show what actually happens. I think that is what was going on, though. Right, it's going to be when we do this get medium from project, we're going to be trying on the third, well, it's probably the first time actually, isn't it? On the first marker, we're going to be trying to match this whole thing against a medium, which is not going to succeed, so we can't push it on. That's probably what's going on there. So wrap 0i. So it's been passed authored, max size of 32. You can see. So it apparently is authored, so there's going to be some nothings, but there's an NG in the way. It's possible because it's wrap 0i, we're not going to get into the actual call. I suppose actually we could go to here and then print the result. So it's authored with length 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah. So 9, 10, 11. And we're going to find that we don't have a medium. Yep. So now we have rebuilt it, I think. If we now go up to I'll go down to here. No, exactly. Yes, so we're on code 081 straight away. It's kind of handy. There's our break here 3. Now, if we look at the this, hopefully we'll see that the authored is just blank. No, yes, there's no garbage within that. Yeah, so that's all we had. Probably we're getting the NG from programming, won't we? So now that we've reinserted 81, we should find that the filter contains chat comment. Yeah, we certainly do. So that's nice that we've got that sorted out. I guess we can let it continue to completion. Why not? So, back to our story, in the words of Casey. If authored, so it's 231, isn't it, that we're sorting out? Okay, so the author is a chat commenter. The author is a credited speaker. So how do we distinguish between these two? So a chat commenter is not going to have any credits in the speaker's menu. They're not going to be credited in the speaker's menu. Right. So in other words, a linear search for speaker will yield nothing. I think I could change this actually to be just like get speaker. I think I prefer to do that. like to be able to search the local topics for the authored. Could that work yet? I wonder. Probably not, actually, unfortunately. Insert category. Yeah, I think it's the markers, isn't it? You want to see if any of the markers are authored. Because they only get added after the event, after the fact. I mean, does that have to be the case? Metadata member. If there's no author, then you want to see if the member. What is this supposed to be saying? Because the member is the host. Why are we specially treating the host? I don't think we want to be specially treating the host. Like, if there's no author, what did it say? If the no author or the speakers count is greater than 1. So if they've still got, I think I want to not. Because it might not have an author. Yeah, I think I just need to redo this completely, really, and just figure out what we actually want to be saying. Basically, we are literally talking about if it's authored. So that is our main case, really. Right. If it's authored, we want to be figuring out what we want to do. So then it's like, if the author is a credited speaker, right? If the author is credited, if they're not, so otherwise, if they're not a credited speaker, we definitely need to be doing this, don't we? Adding the author tag. Pretty goddamn sure that needs to happen. Like, we've done this, we don't need to bother with that. Presume this is just what you need. No, this ain't fully right, because we do need to say some other stuff. So where we see the speaker index, we want to be saying right. So if they haven't been seen, their display name is equal to their name. Otherwise, the display name should be equal to the wrap 0 of their abbreviation. Is that right? Probably to wrap 0 this actually, don't I? Yeah, so there's no, what do you call this? Fixed size things. Right, if they haven't been seen, then we do that. Then we copy the string to the buffer, the actual stuff. Call it, yeah. And then finally, speaker scene is equal to true. What does this like? Incompatible type for argument 1. Name. Oh! The name might already be a thingamajig. Oh, that's cool. Ah, yeah, so it wasn't wrap z'd, was it? Wrap zeroed. So again, this isn't going to be right. Because this is the situation that we've got at the moment. Right, this is the behaviour that we're actually performing. But what we want to say, it's like, yeah, I sort of feel like there's no programmatic way that we can distinguish between these situations. You can't distinguish between C. Muratori saying something in the chat versus saying something oh, actually, what's going on here? Get seen Andrew. Ah, shit. So there is another case, isn't there? If there's more than one speaker. Oh, bollocks. Yeah, it's okay. So this isn't authored. Fuck. So I see kind of now. I sort of see why we made the annotators not speakers. It was so that we could perform some jiggery pokery here. You can just assume that if one of these guys, like if there's guest co-hosts, or just that's all there is. If there's guests or co-hosts, then you can assume that when they are mentioned in the annotation, they have said something. But what is the guy speaking's username? Oh, there's actually Pixel School. So yeah, like I was saying, is there a guest or user or co-host, and you see those guys as the author, then you can assume that they spoke something and you study a speech. If it doesn't have an author, but there are speakers, then you consider it. You consider the member to be the speaker, which is what we're doing here. So I guess that's where we had this, wasn't it? It was like, previously, it was if anno author or the speaker count is greater than 1, wasn't it? That was the exact test that we had, wasn't it? Right. And it's not categorised AFK, yeah. God damn it. That is unfortunate. That I hadn't realised that that's how it all works. It's categorised AFK. Bloody hell. Right, I'll tell you what. Let's just try and get this particular case handled. Right. So in this case, there's only one speaker. Right, I think it's fine to try and get the speaker. I might like to know if this annotation is authored already. Well, like I say, let's just get this going. So the case here is I think we don't have the way to actually sort of say, we can't programmatically figure it out. So I think what we need to do is we just need to say, if you need to do that 241, you just have to say authored. I think that's just what you got to do. Not running. Right. So if it's not authored, then you need to actually go in here. Into a category authored. And another thing, actually, this wrap 0, this medium authored, this probably needs to be actually a built-in thing, doesn't it? Like we need to include this with our configuration. Like this needs to come by default. Do you know what I mean? I think we've got the AFK-ness. There's null topic. I think null topic is probably fair game. We could just do that without having that as a default. Maybe. Is authored. Yeah, so it's only authored that actually has a string being passed to it. Default medium, that's going to be set by us, set in the config rather. Yeah, it's only the author and the null topic, so even AFK. got rid of that and having to be medium hidden. Yeah, so this used to be here. This used to be a hard-coded check on... Yeah, initially it used to be hard-coded check on AFK, but that's now actually doing the right thing. Yeah. What's that taking exactly? It's taking the actual anno. I mean, really no harm in doing this. It's categorised AFK. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's categorised. Authored would really do it. Kind of. Although, now that I think about it, it's categorised AFK. I suppose this should actually be saying, is it hidden? Shouldn't it? Oh no, it needs to be. We need to get medium, don't we? Right. So it's very cheesy, I know, but just how it goes sometimes. So does this even do the right check, by the way? It's going to have all the markers. Yeah, so I think that is alright. If there's a speaker and it's not categorised authored, then we go into here. Do this stuff, speaker seem true. Otherwise, And I guess it's worth mentioning that hold on a second. If there's a speaker and it's not categorised or authored, then yes, then we shouldn't apply the authored thing to it. Is that right? If there isn't a speaker, then you go straight down to here. This might be right. I'm not 100% sure. We do also need to we need to get the members' name somewhere, don't we? So what's the logic for that? In the case that there's more than one speaker, we must say what the speaker's name is. I feel like I'm just going to be writing the whole flipping logic exactly as it used to be, by the way. Because I'm kind of about to write, if there's no author, then we just get the member's name. Or rather, if there's no author and the speaker's count is greater than 1. God damn it. Just not sure how best to do this. If the speaker's count is greater than 1. I suppose it's also worth saying that is categorised AFK. Like, in either case, why not just add them? I don't think we need to check this if it is categorised AFK at all. Because if we need it to be categorised AFK, then it'll just categorise it, won't it? Is that true? Maybe we do need to check it. If there's more than one speaker, this particular annotation is not categorized AFK. Just forget about the AFK for a bit. If it's authored, we just need to get the speaker, don't we? Right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's all we need to do. We need to say okay. So if there's more than one speaker, then the speaker we must try and get a speaker. If we can get a speaker, then we do this crap. Is that right? So we're going to try and get the... If there's an author, we try and use that. Otherwise we do that. Yeah, if speaker and... So we do need this test as well, actually. Then we do this. Otherwise... So if there's more than one speaker... So yeah, I think this is a bit more like it. If there's only one speaker, we want to try and get that speaker. If we do manage to get that speaker, and the thing is not categorized or authored, then we do this. Otherwise, we just straight up do this. And just use the actual no author. Right, I think that's right. And then if the speaker count is 0, sorry, if the speaker count is not greater than 1, then we do this, don't we? Sorry. If there's an author, and I think we do this, don't we? Let's try it. Just see what happens. So let's see Cinera coming through as we want him to do. So that looks all legit now. And is this Andrew Bromwich? Yeah. And this seems to have come through alright as well. And all these other guys. So let's get chat comments. Speech. So yeah, you got rant and speech in that one. This is research. Searching for the extreme. So yeah, these guys that don't have an annotation are going to be... Where is this? What? Hang on a second. Programming is getting the default medium. What's happening here? Speech. So for 440, what's that getting? So speech is set to the default medium. But it isn't getting to set to the default medium here, I don't think. Yeah, there's no default medium getting set. So where does that get set exactly? Medium. Is equal to the current default medium. Media count. So this is way down there now. If medium, get medium from project. It's trying to do a wrap 0i on the media category marker. Now we just made sure that the media people are getting cleared when we swap them, didn't we? let's step into it here. It might be nice if we can actually just look at day, in particular, day 440 in particular, because we're not seeing the speech popping up in there. Do we see it on other things, I wonder? So we're getting the default medium through there. Let's just have a quick look at the code that we just wrote. Insert category. Not exactly sure how this interacts with the speechiness. Speech. I mean, let's just step in, as I was saying. Or rather, default medium. So I was saying, I only want to step into here for this particular annotation, doesn't it? So it's 440. Oh, it's not that, is it? It's the base file name. Right. There's apparently 6 media on this particular thing. 440. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, okay. So let's have a look at them. admin, authored, run, rant, research, speech. So that's all of them. So speech should have been the default. So what is the default? Apparently it's programming. Is that true? There's no programming in here, is there? So that's probably why we're not getting anything. But the thing is, why? Oh shit! It's the default. We're not using the right thing because we set it in the HTML. The medium should be speech. So yeah, I need to set that. Yeah, if medium is current program default medium. So that ain't right. So yeah, that guy is using the default medium. Yeah, I think that's all it is, isn't it? So rather than using the dude, rather than using this, I should be saying just this because the default medium is set. Is that true? If the medium is equal to the default medium. So medium is one of these. So yeah, unfortunately. I think I need to pull this out again, don't I? So wherever I'm using default medium, I think well, hold on a minute. Get medium from projects. Now rather saying medium exists. Specify medium not available media for medium. Well, why don't we just return the actual thing? Right, that'd get us out of some funny business, wouldn't it? So if you've got a medium and you try and set the default medium to be that, medium exists will error out, will produce the error message. Error is equals true. I think that's okay. And then wherever you use the default medium, yeah, now speech gets the thing. Cool. So I think we've established that we're doing what we want to do now, I reckon. Believe it or not. It's now 1:30 in the morning. Done 3 hours, okay. The default kit doesn't come through correctly, though. We need to fix the medium equals cut medium default medium test. Yeah, right. I would just fix that. So we have figured that out. Now, because of the way that the the media get added up, I reckon that we don't need to check here if medium, because when you added them to the media thing, you had to check to see if it was a medium. So I reckon we don't need to perform this check here. Because you can just trust that it is. And there's no problems there. All right, let's call it a day. I think this is doing what we now want to be doing. It's just a bit janky, really. Because you've got a couple of cases that are doing the same thing here. So maybe we could figure out how to write these guys again. I mean, that's what we're trying to do today. We're trying to untangle the cases. But in doing that, we've kind of given ourselves another bit of a tangle. And duplicated code. So this could happen out here, right? Let's try and do this before we go, and then we can just put this whole garbage to bed. there even is an author, then we try and set it. So then here, oh yeah, if there's no speaker, that's the point. Well, hold on. Get speaker can return 0, can't it? Yeah. So that could plausibly end up as 0 still. So what's our cases here? We need to get into this and this using the same test. So this one is saying God damn it. So weird, the stuff that you end up doing. This one. So if the speaker's count is 1, right? If the speaker's count is less than or equal to 1, or is it an or actually? Yeah, so it's these two cases. So let's just do this again. If this, I mean, I guess technically I also do want to be able to say in the else of this is just going to be the greater than 1 situation. So I think I do need to say if it's less than or equal to 1, and there is an author, and it's not categorised anal. Right, if all of this lot, or if all of that, or there's the speaker count is greater than this. Let's just do it from the top down. If the speaker's count is greater than 1, and it's not a, and is categorized AFK, and if the speaker's count is greater than 1 and it's not categorized AFK, and there is a speaker, sorry, and there either isn't a speaker or it is categorized authored. that right? Right. If all of that is true, or if the speakers count is greater than or equal to 1, and there is an author, and it's not categorised then you do this. Otherwise, surely it's not that complex. I wonder if there are any tools around that just sort of tell you what the least cases are. Yeah, they just kind of compress the cases down for you. Like what are the things in play here? Which tests even matter? So you can sort of see here, I'm testing is categorised AFK in 2 places, so clearly I think that matters, doesn't it? Doesn't it? If it's categorised AFK, we can get into this branch and into this branch. So I think and nothing happens if it is categorised AFK. So I think that's one thing that we could do with untangling. If we make that our top thing. Alright. So here we go. Well, hold on, let me just write this again. Right. So if we say that, then we at least know we can get rid of this test. And that test. right? So then we just need to see about these guys. So if the speakers count is greater than 1, then we have a choice between two things. Now, if it is categorized authored, sorry, if it isn't categorized authored, we want to end up adding the authored tag. In this case, I think we're only going to be able to get a speaker if the count is greater than 0. Is that true? Yeah, I guess. Whatever. And I suppose actually, now I think about it, we're always going to be able to get a speaker, aren't we? Because either the thing is going to have an author, or we're going to get this member, right? Is that true? And I think we should have found earlier, shouldn't we? If the member doesn't exist, we should have been able to say, didn't we check this? Bill critters. Yeah, I guess we could do, couldn't we? Because that would be an error if the member doesn't exist. Does this actually report anything? No, it doesn't seem to do. Oops. Error credentials. We could just do that, couldn't we? Yeah, we are saying that this has to be an error. So taking the string atom roll. And the role is going to be the owner, I guess. Host. Yeah, okay. Metadata is undeclared, really? Where do I got that from? Metadata annotator. Alright, I'm just passing the metadata to the build credentials. Okay, fine. So yeah, if we do that, error credentials on this dude. Strictly speaking, this might not even be necessary anymore. We might actually, now that I think about it, rather than using the metadata member, we should use the, what's its face? The current project's owner, shouldn't we? Isn't that true? I think that's probably more like what you want to do. Similarly here. You know, in which case, you don't care if there's a member set, really. Bit unfortunate that this all is taking that. let's leave that as it is for now and just go back to what we were talking about. So we're going to kind of let that still go. But here we go, if we've got the speaker, current project owner, I think we should have failed before now. So we don't need to check if we've got a speaker, because we should be able to have a speaker straight up, right? You know, either set to the author or the owner. So then it's just a case of this: if the speaker's count is greater than 1, if it's categorized authored, if it isn't categorized authored rather. If the speaker's count is greater than 1, if the speaker's count is greater than 1 and it's categorized authored, then we set it as authored. If the speaker's, well, hang on, let's just strip down our little thing here. If the speaker's count is greater than that, if the speaker's count is greater than 1, so we're trying to get the case for these two dudes here. And it is categorized authored is what we actually want. Or if the speaker's count is greater than or equal to 1, that encompasses both of these two cases. Else, if the speaker's count is greater than 1 and that, then you've got the other case. I guess we just do that, because I mean that's gonna cover it. And now if you look at it, if the speaker's count is greater than 1, this guy's also checking if the speaker's count is greater than 1. Isn't he? So can't we just factor that out? Or to put it another way, split it out. So if the speaker's count is greater than 1, and we go in and do these tests. So in other words, like, yeah, is that actually true? Maybe it isn't. Or maybe it is. Let's continue. Oh, we've got this, or speakers count is less than or equal to 1. So yeah, I guess that won't cut the mustard, maybe. Yeah, and then we're into the same question, aren't we? We'd end up having to do the else if. I mean, it kind of seems like we're getting into the situation where you need a truth table, doesn't it? That is categorized authored. I think what's possibly throwing us off here is that we've got an or going on, so it's like this or that. Is there anything that's consistent between all of this? I don't think there is there? Let's write those two tests. I mean, it's going to be literally this, isn't it? It's just that, and then this. And we're perfectly fine to delete that because it's already well, not exactly that, but this. Something's going wrong. If the speakers count is that and this, or the speakers count is this not and that. Now let's just see if this even produces what we expect it to produce. No. That's probably because it didn't ban a speaker, isn't it? So yeah, we probably do need to check that somehow, which is unfortunate. Oh, that's the point, isn't it? We can't rely on there being a speaker, as we thought we could. Yeah, because that can return 0. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So we need to reintroduce that in the that is categorized author Dano somehow, somewhere. Maybe it's just this actually. It is a speaker because the other guys should handle that, shouldn't it? We just need to say if there's a speaker. Might you? Yeah, if there's not a speaker, I think basically I'm saying it needs to go here. That's where that was. Is that true? No, I was saying, wasn't I, that if the speakers count is greater than 1, then it should give us the whole thing, shouldn't it? Let's see if this guy dies on us. So that's okay. Don't know if it's produced the right stuff. It all looks the same to me. I think that is actually just the same code, isn't it? Almost. Speakers count. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it now. So I did sort of say that I was going to finish. Call it and just see. Maybe tomorrow if we just disentangle this again. At least we got it doing what we wanted to do, which is that we get Casey written out using his handle there rather than with his full name in this case when it's a chat comment. And this is still working. So yeah, I would like to just flatten this old test out. But that can have to be a task for tomorrow. Done enough. So thank you very much, Heroes and Heroines, for being here, for being fantastic, beautiful, and for being authorial. Until next time, farewell for now.